If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, and share so we can find others like yourself. Welcome to the Bitcoin Basics podcast with your hosts, Faris and Gordon from CoinCompass.com, enabling you to safely buy and securely store your Bitcoins. All resources are in the show notes and description, including our disclaimer. Visit BitcoinBasicsPodcast.com to subscribe and discover other free content.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, to another Bitcoin Basics podcast with your host, me, Gordon. And I have Faris, who I'll introduce to you in a moment. But today is day 29 of our 30 days of Bitcoin, which have taken 6 months. Faris, how's it going in whatever lockdown you're in?
I'm good, Gordon. I'm still in New Zealand. Lockdown is described as 2.5, I think. So we're keeping an eye on things in Auckland, see how they go there. I know it's taken us a while to get through 30 days of Bitcoin, but we never promised they'd be sequential. We did promise 30 days and we intend to deliver.
Exactly. It's the 30 days in 6 months, but we're getting there.
Read the fine print, of which there is none.
Before we get started, let's do our proof recording. So today is September the 1st, 2020. The price of Bitcoin is $11,702 US. And the current block height is 646,225, according to the Clark Moody dashboard, which is linked in the description of the show notes. So today we have our 29th question. So let's go and play it.
Hi, Coin Compass. My question is, does cryptocurrency in any way correlate to what the share market is doing?
Okay, another great question, common question. Faris, is the stock market or the share market correlated to the price of crypto? Or let's stick with Bitcoin.
So I'll answer the question, is Bitcoin correlated to the stock market? And I would say right now, yes, it is. At time of recording, I'd agree it is. My reasoning behind that is it shouldn't be. Bitcoin is a store of value. If anything, it should be correlated to the price of gold. But what's happened since lockdown, we've had some pretty decent price movements going up in Bitcoin, appreciating. And that's actually been in the stock market as well. And I was just at the gym earlier and, you're seeing COVID cases, deaths about to hit 1 million, and it's still, locked down around countries. There's so much volatility in the world. You're looking at everything that's going on in America. And the NASDAQ is hitting all-time highs. So you're thinking that does not make sense. We're a consumer-based economy, means people need to go out and spend money. People are literally locked indoors, jobless, but stock markets are going up. So why is that happening? Well, to make things very simple, governments around the world are essentially paying people to stay indoors. So you're getting unemployment benefits, you're staying at home. And we have since seen, especially in America, more people opening up trading accounts where they're day trading. And all right, stock market's going up, let me just buy shares. And I believe they're doing the same thing with Bitcoin. We've seen more people buying Bitcoin via other apps in the US. And that's my theory, is that they're actually just day trading it without understanding what it really is. It wasn't always this way. Bitcoin was uncorrelated. But this year, 2020, I'd say we have seen a very strong correlation to the stock market.
Fair enough. We live in crazy times, don't we? When we see record unemployment and stock market going boom to the moon. I am going to link an excellent explanation of the real economy versus the whatever you want to call it economy. And it sort of shows the difference between maybe why the stock market is going up. But you see when you go and buy your steak in the supermarket and all the prices are going up as well. So it kind of delineates the two, kind of like there's sort of two economies, the real economy, and then there's sort of like the trading or the funny money economy. Anything else to add to that, Faris?
Yeah, so there's a lot that we can talk about this. If I just want to look at the role of Bitcoin. So if that's true, if Bitcoin is correlated to the stock market, and the stock market for several metrics is due for a correction. And I know doom and gloom sells. There's a lot, there are people out there who've called 80 of the last 4 stock market crashes. So doom and gloom does sell. It does make headlines. It gets people worried. So they buy subscriptions. And I've fallen victim to that several times. I've tried to short the stock market several times over the last 10 years. Looking at my metrics now, there is some indicators where I'm looking at the S&P 500, the VIX, and the US dollar. And I think this week we are potentially due for a correction in the stock market. As happens this week or next week and Bitcoin follows suit, then yes, obviously the correlation is there. Long term, I'm a very firm believer in Bitcoin. I believe it is, the best store of value that we have in existence today. And I am still thinking of gold as that. But gold we're seeing is uncorrelated stock market right now. Bitcoin isn't. So that's my concern, is that Bitcoin is still very much misunderstood. It is not respected as a safe haven asset that it should be. People are just day trading it. If we do get a correction in the stock market this week or next, and if Bitcoin follows suit, then we'll have to see what happens from there.
Excellent. I have no idea where the price is going of Bitcoin, whether it's still going to be correlated in the future or not. But the best way to buy Bitcoin is the dollar cost average. So don't try and time the tops and the bottoms. Bitcoin, if it is, it seems to be correlated to the stock market, as Faris said. No matter how good Bitcoin is, if the stock market goes down, Bitcoin might go down with it. So don't try and time the market. Dollar cost average every week, every month, and then you take out all that volatility. So you're not worried about these weekly ups and downs. You are averaging your purchase of Bitcoin over time. Okay, any final thoughts? Stock market, Bitcoin?
I can link up a chart. I was actually looking at this today. So I'm looking at 2 patterns in the S&P 500. And with Bitcoin going up, we have to remember we're calling the price of Bitcoin against US dollar, and US dollar has gone down significantly against other currencies. So when that happens, you expect anything to be correlated against US dollar to go up. The US dollar may potentially hit a point where it needs to retrace its losses, hence the US dollar going up. So you would look at things like oil and gold that are normally correlated to US dollar going down. I think oil might go down because it's correlated to US dollar, but for other reasons as well. It's forming a really nice wedge pattern. Bitcoin may follow suit. If the US dollar goes up, then people go, I want to get out my Bitcoin and buy US dollars, because just by holding Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes sideways, then I'm losing value against my US dollars. So that's what we're seeing. I'll put up some charts just to support this hypothesis, but I could be wrong, and most people these days are wrong, because it's the market that makes the decisions, and the market is the masses, and the masses are emotional. So we can come up with all the reasonings that we want, but at the end of the day, you have to respect the market.
So to summarize your answer to the question, the answer is yes, it is correlated.
Yes, in my opinion, absolutely.
And the question that everyone wants to know, when moon?
I'm apprehensive. So, these next week or 2 will tell. So, I'm still apprehensive. I'm itching to get in, trade long, which we shouldn't do. But I'm going to take our own advice and dollar cost average. So at that stage, you just remove all the stress from your life. So dollar cost averaging, Satoshi stacks. We've covered this in this podcast. We'll link notes to where we cover it in more detail. Just do that and get all that trauma out of your life.
Excellent. So again, we'll put all the links to all that in the description of the show notes, including where you can actually set up a free account at TradingView, coincompass.com/TradingView, and you can play along by yourself. You can look at the price of Bitcoin compared with the stock market and vice versa. So thanks, Faris. That concludes day 29 of 30 days of Bitcoin.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, and share so we can find others like yourself.
Thanks for watching or listening. Please visit coincompass.com/free to register to our socials and discover other free content. Subscribing, liking, and following helps this content remain ad-free. Until next time.